Hey guys, welcome back. So now that we have this create playlist function set up, it's time to implement this create playlist file that we're submitting the AJAX request to. But just before we do that, we have this username parameter, which will be the username of the person we want to create the playlist for. And it just dawned on me that we actually have this username parameter available in the header file. So if I go to header.php, you'll see that we created this user-logged-in JavaScript variable in order for us to be able to pass in the username into the pages. So in our open page function, which we wrote, we have the user-logged-in value passed into the page. So we can actually access a user-logged-in variable without having to pass it into the function. So we can actually get rid of that. So this create playlist function now takes no parameters, and we can access it by using user-logged-in. Like that, user logged in, and that means we can go back to yourmusic.php and remove this parameter that we passed into it there. So save that, and then if I just show you we actually have it, console.log user logged in. So this is coming from the global variable. I'll save that, and I'll refresh the page, and you can see when I press this, you'll see the username right there. Okay, so we actually have that variable there. So just a slight change. And let's go ahead and create this create playlist.php file now. So open a PHP block, so PHP, and the first thing we're going to do is include our config file so that we can actually submit AJAX requests. So include like that, and then the path to the config file is .. We need to go back one file, which puts us into the handlers folder, back one more, which then puts us into the includes folder, and then we just want config.php. Okay, so .. config.php, and this is a real simple page. All we're going to do is one query which inserts the data into the database. But before we do that, we need to do an if statement just to make sure the parameters are set. So if is set, and let's just say $_post, square brackets, single quotes, right, name, and then outside that we'll do the same thing again. So and is set $_post, square brackets, single quotes, and this will be username, like that. So name and username, these two strings match up with how we named it here. Name there and username there. So you have to match whatever you call them in this script.js file. Okay. So create username, and if we get to this point in the code inside this if statement, it means both of those have a value. So we can say name equals $_post, square bracket, single quote, name, like that. And then username is going to be the same thing again, just $_post, square bracket, single quote, and then username, like that. Then date is going to be just simply date, like this, the date function, and then inside there we pass in the format of the date we want to use. So this needs to be uppercase Y dash lowercase m dash lowercase d, like this, year, month, day. So whether the letter is upper or lowercase depends on how it will be outputted. So we can just keep it like that. That's a good one. And then all we have to do now is just one more line, just query equals MySQLi underscore query. And inside there, just put con, our connection variable to the database. And then finally, the query itself is just going to be insert into playlists, that new table we created, values, and then parentheses right there. Inside there, first parameter is the ID. We can leave that as it is because we set that to auto increment, remember. The second one is going to be the name, so in single quotes put name. Make sure you remember your single quotes around your variables, comma. Next one is going to be the username, so single quotes username, like that. And then the last one is the date. Make sure that comma goes outside of the single quotes, so single quotes and then comma. And the last one is going to be the date, which we just created, which is date, like that. And you could leave this query assignment off. You don't have to do that. That would work too. But we're going to leave it. But we can use query like that because if we want to, we can return the status. And what we can also do is just put an else block on there, which will just echo name or username parameters not passed into file. And that will just help us if we get something wrong with this. That will just help us to find the error. The reason we're going to do that is because back in our script.js, we can just put something in this function here. So error like that, and we can just say if error is not equal to null, then simply alert error like that, and then just return. We don't want to do anything else there. And I'll show you what that would do now. If I change this to names, so it's a different variable, right? And the create playlist file now is searching for name, but because we called it names, this will fail and this will happen. Let me just show you what's going to happen. So in fact, I'll clear the cache just in case the file is cached. So empty cache, hard reload. And when I submit something now, and then put a name in there, click OK, we should get an alert. Put something in there, and it doesn't. Let me just check the console. So what does it say? So alert is not a function. So I know why that's happened, because we've called this alert here, but alert is already a built-in function which shows an alert. So we should probably change this. We shouldn't use alert for the name here. We can just call this something like pop-up or something. So pop-up, I'll just replace alert there with pop-up, and then also here as well. So call that pop-up, and now alert will just be the usual alert function. So let me just do that again. So create a new playlist, type a name in there, and you'll see we get an alert. And the reason this is good for us is because if there's something wrong or we change something, this just tells us what the problem is. Rather than if we don't do anything, we're going to be struggling to find out what the issue is, and we'll have to do some more investigation. So this just helps us out a little bit. And anyway, that should be fine. I'll go and change this back to name instead of names like that, and then refresh the page, and we'll see if this works. Let's insert a playlist. So click on new playlist, and I'll say my first playlist. Click OK, and we're getting an error, but let's just check if that actually worked. So go to playlists, and you'll see it did actually insert. So that means we're not checking if message is not null, we're going to check if it's equal to empty string, like that. So if it's not equal to empty string, let me just go and test it out again. I'll just even empty the cache and hard reload as well. So let's do another one. Playlist 2, click OK, and it worked. So let me just check that actually inserted. There, so the error message is sorted. We don't want to check if it's not equal to null, we want to check if it's not equal to an empty string. Alright, and just to make sure the alert still shows, I'll just change that so it's the wrong name, and then do the same thing again, which means you'll see an alert right there. Okay, great. So we can now create playlists. Just don't forget to change this back to the correct name, okay?